Hello, Earth Signs. Welcome to your daily focus tarot for Wednesday. The first two cards out were Nine of Swords in reverse and King of Swords in the upright. So, Nine of Swords in the upright, it's talking about. In the other deck, you can also see it. They're both in bed, and they're both, the swords are. In the other deck, they're on the wall behind the bed. So swords are like talking about balance, balancing the edges of things, balancing male and female, balancing thoughts, right? Because swords are considered to be thoughts, but they're also considered to be actions sometimes. So in the reverse, and you'll notice this almost looks like a book, like the moon has illuminated and opened up the pages of a book here. So in the upright, in this, I also kind of read this crown. Sorry, it took me a long time to realize this crown is like a bunch of tiny swords in this deck. Because to me, when I first looked at it, it reminded me of St. Lucia with the light, with the candles like around her head. Or, Bridget. So when this deck is upright, it's talking about internal anxieties and fears, feelings of internal worthlessness, things like that, being haunted by them. Now when it's like this, it still looks like a book that's open, and this moon, this crescent moon, is the binding that's holding the golden book together. So in the reverse, it can be talking about having more objectivity when it comes to like your anxiety, your feelings of shame, depression. It can talk about, a revelation or recovery. It can talk about releasing that baggage. With the Ten of Pentacles, this is the card of satisfaction. It's also a card of like satisfaction in terms of your job or your career or even family. A lot of people read it as family. This one I sometimes read as more having to do with career and jobs. So this can be a card talking about with these two here, you're starting to gain clarity. And the King of Swords, this is a card of learning to hold those thoughts in balance. This is Odin with thought and memory. And he is holding the sword over his heart in balance. So he's using his head over his heart. He's got his emotions under control. And the balanced thinking is leading to this sunrise here, to this golden apple, to this, knowledge of what to do. And for the clarifier of the King of Swords, we have, I'll hold it so you can see what it looks like upright, but we have this Queen of Cups, and in the upright, she's kind of just dipping her toe into the water being her unconscious, her emotions, her spirituality. She's very heavily dressed in green, so this is a card about healing that unconscious, healing that emotionality. And when you hold it in the reverse, instead of the moon looking like it's going to go onto the pedestal of the cup looks like it's spilling out the moon. So it's spilling out the unconscious thoughts. It's spilling out the unconscious knowledge. And this card, it is a card of Scorpio. It's a card of intuition. In the reverse, it can talk about being insecure or being, around somebody who's dishonest and emotionally manipulative. If the King of Swords were talking about a person, it would say they're manipulative. Let me double check. I don't think King of Swords has an associated sign. If it did, it might be Leo, but I'm not sure. I don't have that in there, but to me, this is more like you figuring out where you're codependent in terms of your family and your career, and you're starting to realize that codependency. You're starting to realize that you're being manipulated, that maybe somebody is being dishonest with you, either like outright lying, or maybe they're just not telling you the whole truth of their emotions or their situation. They're not sharing their thoughts with you, being distant. So at the bottom, and what's hidden from you, what you're unaware of, you're unconscious. In the Druid craft, we have strength, which, this is inner strength. This is coming up with your own inner sense of who you are and not being afraid to show who you are. You'll notice she's tamed that boar. She's tamed Odin without her sword. She's done it by being calm, by being collected. She's used the redness of her passion. So the sword of thinking that he's got balanced, and the emotions of the Queen of Cups, these are balanced in this card, and the Strength card. They're together, they're united, they're tamed. Underneath that, we have the Eight of Pentacles, which is talking about building your skills. Now here it's like more like a career, like building skills in terms of career, but to me this is more of a personal life reading. It's more of an emotional, like something's going on between you and your significant other, or you and parents or children type of thing, maybe even a friend. So this is, when we talk about building skills, it's easy to think about building your skills in your career. It's not so easy to think about building them in terms of personal relationships. And a lot of times what you have to do is just do and learn as you go along. There's not a lot of guidance on that. But underneath the Eight of Pentacles, we have the Lord. And the Lord is talking about structure and guidance. He's talking about coming up with a plan and figuring out how to do that. So you may want to look for something outside yourself to help provide this learning. Princess of Cups, inspiration, new creativity, new beginnings. And notice she's, even the Lord is wearing that passion, that color of red. He's actually got two primary colors, the red and the green. And then he's got the blue, or I guess steel gray you would call it. But she's got the red. She's even a redhead. And she's got the red. She's got the passion. She's got both the bright new fiery passion and the deep maroon, the more dated, more deeper, darker passion and creativity. And then we have the Lady, which is talking about abundance in all forms, and the Sun. Underneath the Sun is the Ten of Wands, so dropping burdens and having a rebirth, having a new life, having new abundance, new creativity, new inspiration and passion. So I would focus on, working on what you want for yourself in terms of like the bottom of the ethereal visions. It has, sorry about that, Seven of Cups, which is a very hesitant harvesting. Two of Pentacles, so learning to balance. And Two of Cups, also learning to balance in a healthy way, because it has the codices on this particular Two of Cups. So it's about, not being sure if you want to harvest something and then trying to figure out how to balance that harvest, trying to figure out how to balance this relationship. And the Hierophant, which is, basically the same as the Lord, is seeking knowledge from a higher source and seeking advice. The Well, creativity. Knight of Swords, using your thinking and your momentum to get what you want, to move towards this goal. And the Artist, talking about vision for your life and where you want to be. So focus on like how far you've come in terms of dealing with like these anxieties, these negative emotions, this imbalance, maybe even outright abuse. Focus on how far you've come, but then don't stop there. Use it as like the springboard to move towards where you want to go. If you need to get out of a situation with somebody, get out of that situation, right? Don't just, do like the Queen of Cups and dip your toe in the water and looking at healing. Actually get that healing. Like go full on in the water and get that healing. You have the strength to do so. You have the power to do so. You have that ability to take the unconscious, put it on that little pedestal, and then turn it. The cups in this deck always kind of make me think of hourglasses, where the sand flows from one side to the other, and you're basically turning time. You're basically changing the way that stuff flows. And you have the ability, through your unconscious mind, through your spirituality, through healing, to change the way that you perceive the past and how that's going to affect your future. Because how you perceive the past affects your future now. It affects your present. And you can perceive it, inaccurately without realizing it. But you can also perceive it in such a way that it hurts you, that it stalls your growth. And to keep growing and keep moving forward, you need to, like I said, don't wallow in it. Don't, look at it in a negative way. If you're going to focus on it in a positive way that helps you move forward. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.